YouTube, what the crap's going on? Sorry, I forgot to switch my scene there. HeirofCarthage back with some Total War Rome 2 online action. This time I'm going to play as the Seleucids, and I'm up against Rome. So let's see how this goes. Here's my Seleucid army. Again, me using pikes, because I played all of these battles in one day, and I spent most of that day trying to better understand pike armies and what kind of pike armies are viable. So you can see I have a skirmish-heavy pike army again, backed up with a general of armored elephants. And again, part of the reason why I brought this army too is it's on open ground. It gives my skirmishers plenty of room to work. I hate these flat maps, but it's quick battle and I don't get to choose it. So yeah, see, pretty standard army here. I think it's the 7 pikes. Yeah, 7 pikes, armored elephants, Median cav, a Gima cav, one more Median cav here. And then I have a ton of Eastern slingers, which are pretty good slingers for the price. So I've got 3 of them, and then I've got them backed up by 3 Eastern javelin men. So you might be like, Air, what's the point of these Eastern javelin men? Eastern javelin men, if you look at their attack there, they are brutal. So despite the odd colors of their clothes, don't underestimate these guys. Their attack, they can take down extremely well-armored and tough infantry units quickly. He accidentally ran his elephants forward here at the beginning, and I got lots of free HP damage on him with my slingers. You can see all the rocks bouncing off him, the elephants making noises. You can imagine that would not make an elephant happy to be getting smacked in the butt with slinger fire. So the Roman player is going to move up here. Let's see what kind of army he's brought. These are just standard pikemen, by the way, not thorax or silver shield. He's got a first cohort, legionary, legionnaire, 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 Sakiae Extraordinarii, and then he's got 4 units of Vigiles over here, which is a light spear unit. Where has he spent most of his money? Legionary cav aren't expensive. The Sakiae Extraordinarii isn't that expensive. I guess his elephants are a big piece of the expense, because these guys are 1,200 denarii. Or, talents, my bad. He's also spent some good money on these auxiliary Syrian archers. I would recommend against spending it on Syrian archers. You would need to be up against a faction that can't field good slingers before it would be a good idea to bring these, because otherwise cheap slingers can kill the expensive archers. Not to say that Syrian archers aren't good, they are, but you got to be careful about when you bring them. My opponent trying to get into the flank of these pikes, but getting caught here, and then wham, Eastern javelin men. Those guys are gone. So that's exactly the reason why I brought Eastern javelin men right there. Like I said, they're kind of like the matchlocks of this ancient time. And then my pikemen are going to be able to easily hold back his legionnaires. All I got to do is just delay his cav on the flanks. As long as I don't let it get to the back of my men, I'm fine. So I'll just use my general and my cav to accomplish that, while my pikes will slowly cut down his men. Heavily armored Roman units will take a little longer to get killed by pikes, but they will get killed. These Vigiles over here are going to get killed even faster. But my opponent is, I think, scared of all my skirmishers and worried about flanking around, so he just tried this frontal assault, and it's not going well for him. So yeah, my pikes will easily cut down all of his infantry from the front here. So when it comes to pikes, there's certain ones, like I don't want them to be too strong from the front, but then again I want them to be able to hold well from the front. So you see these Roman units, they have killed a fair number of these pikes. It doesn't go like where they just get completely slain in 3 seconds for no losses. I mean, if you see here where they're doubled up, eventually they might, I don't know if they'd win that or not, but they do cause damage. But I don't know. I'm kind of not really, I'm not sure how, I like it. It's definitely better than pikes were. I think the lesson here is just never take them head on. A unit of like Praetorian Guard or something could probably cut through one of those guys head on. But these lesser legionnaire units, it's not a good idea. Again, elite infantry might be able to pull it off, and eventually you may get there. So see, look, yeah, the weight of these several legionnaire units is now taking its toll, and they're going to beat these pikes. So I guess if you want to do that, it's just not very cost effective. And now my opponent's completely on the run. And again, all I had to do was delay his cav. It didn't even matter if I won the cav fight in the end. My Eastern javelin men, you all saw how quickly they took down those elephants. Here I'm going to use all my slingers and other units to try and take out this legionnaires. I try and just get them stuck here for a minute on my pikemen while I hit them with all of this skirmish fire. So here comes all the javelins and stones and everything else. And it's going to get ugly for these legionnaires. Yeah. So this amount of skirmish fire is deadly even to these heavily armored Roman units. You can see though they do just fine in melee against these pikes, especially when they're not in pike formation. Yeah. Anyway, I've wrapped up the rest of his troops out here. A couple of his Vigiles came back from routing, but I just take them without even getting into pike mode. There's no need. My pikes can take these guys outside of pike formation. So when I'm chasing skirmishers, I'm going to take my pikes out of pike formation. Enemy generals out here too. This last unit of legionnaires here going to get cut down by skirmish fire. I'm actually surprised it took the skirmishers this long. I must have been targeting the wrong unit because they just died real quick there. Enemy general's gone, so that's going to be the end of that battle. Rather short one. So definitely don't attack pikes from the front with legionnaires. Do some flanking. Now, what do you do like if you're Rome and you're playing against a player who's brought the kind of army that I did? If I were you, I would consider other options. Think about where you spent your money here. So the elephants you don't need to beat a pike army, and I wouldn't bring them, especially not against the Seleucids, who can have better elephants themselves. If I were you, and I were the Romans, and I wanted to bring someone who's going to beat this kind of army, let's take a look at something real quick. So let's continue past the screen. You'll get to see the kills. Let's go into a custom battle. Let me just try and explain something real quick. So let's take a look at Roman units. So slingers. Slingers are good at killing anything that doesn't have real good shield strength. So let's see. I'm curious. Velites. Velites don't have much armor or shield strength, so it wouldn't work for the Romans. I would just bring Balearic slingers to help counter it, and all you need is a few of them to try and keep some of their slingers busy firing at your own while your legionnaires start to run around the flanks. You can keep 1 or 2 legionnaires in the front, and then you could also bring a whole bunch of these cheap levies units, leves, or whatever you want to call them. They're very cheap. They're not the best javelin men, but if the enemy javelins are if the enemy slingers are having to focus on your own slingers, and then you have a whole bunch of these javelins, you can get up and throw them at their pike units and really weaken up their pike units badly. Another thing you can do before you charge pikes head on is you can take your legionnaires, you can click an attack order like I did a few battles ago, let them throw their pillar and then immediately pull back before they hit the pikes, and then let them reload, and you can do it again, and you can also damage pike units very bad that way. So before you charge the pikes, think of some way to weaken them up. Hopefully I'm giving you all some good tactics, and I'll try and explain it again some more in further videos. HeirofCarthage signing off for now.